Thank you so much, Just Joanne, for being here and joining us, having this combo with us. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm from Pennsylvania, USA, and I'm a singer, songwriter. I'm learning music production.
What do you do on Twitch?
I have been branching out. I'm mostly doing music, song requests, and sometimes originals and covers.
Love that.
But every once in a while, I'm doing meditation, as you've seen. It depends on who's there. I do music production when I have an original that I want to work on. Once in a while, I do have an original that I want to work on.
Totally.
Or just some creative ideas that I'm just playing with. Sometimes I really just like to play.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, we are
Absolutely.
doing games. I like it when chat says, "Hey, I want to do marbles on stream." Sometimes we like to do read out louds, especially if we can have a guest who comes in and wants to do it with us, like someone like Brad, who is going to be with us later this week. And it's just nice to have two voices and do some sort of reading. If it's a holiday, we might do something connected
Totally.
with the
I love
holiday.
that.
Like we did some
Mm-hmm.
Irish stories, some Irish fairy tales last week. And over
Nice.
Halloween,
Like
we
Celtic
did,
stuff?
yeah,
That's
things
so
about
cool.
leprechauns and fairies and things like that. And we
That's
did
awesome.
over Halloween earlier, we did Japanese ghost stories, and we had a few different guests coming in to do
Wow.
that with us.
Yeah, you have a lot of fun on your streams. I love that about it. It's so inspiring and welcoming and like just mellow and just super. I love the vibes with
Yeah,
Just
thank
Joanne C,
you.
y'all.
I did try to keep myself aware of my chat and who's with me at the time and what they feel like doing. Last
Totally.
week, Cap was with us, and she told me her son was there, and I said to her, "Does your son like to
Oh,
hear
that's right.
children's songs? Do they like what do they like?" And she said she said that they like to dance. So I said, "Okay, I have some originals." And
Yeah.
it was something that I used to do on stream a lot. I used to actually to get myself some moving around so my back wouldn't bother me. I used to take breaks to dance.
Yeah, for
But
sure. I
then
love
but
that.
then I usually hadn't because there wasn't as much interest in it. But since Cap said, "Oh, their son liked to dance," I said, "All right, I got a couple of our dance songs out, and I would just go back there and move my chair and just do
Hmm.
it." And
It's awesome. I
like I
totally
said,
missed that the other morning. I woke up and Cap was like telling me about it. I was like, that sounds so cool. I missed that. I haven't caught one of those yet.
yeah, it
The
really
dance
does
breaks.
depend a lot on what's going on in the chat. If there's
I
somebody there
love
that says
that.
they like dancing or that says that they'd like to see it, then it'll happen. If the person is someone like you, they say, "Okay, they're in the mood for a meditation," and then I'll just
Yeah.
stop and do that. I'm
You're
not
such a
as
great
focused
host.
on the music and the content as I am on the chat. One of the things that I have found is because I'm soft spoken, I have a tough time in the real life situations getting people to listen to me. And I often, especially because I'm a good listener, I'm the one who gets the has to listen to people dump their
Yeah.
stuff. And I
Totally.
don't get really heard quite often when I'm in a real life, what you call real life situation. And sometimes I think I depend on Twitch too much that way. And I've actually
Mm.
backed off more from those situations because I'm so comfortable with Twitch
Hmm.
and the
That's
community,
hmm
because I get
that's
heard
great
here.
awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get heard
That's
here.
great awareness.
Whereas
Hmm.
before I was a streamer and even as a viewer, I didn't really feel like I was able to really be myself as much because I was always listening to other people, essentially.
Yeah. So it's opened up a door to to unlocking your throat chakra, right? Like your voice, basically.
Yeah, I think so. My
That's awesome.
my voice, what things that I do think I have some important things to say sometimes.
Hmm.
My songs give me a chance to sing my songs and get people to to listen to them and explain their
Hear you out.
stories.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you in a bit too if you would share a story you told me before when I was hanging out with you.
Yeah, there was a song. I mean, there's so many stories, but
Yeah.
one story that I think for this community that, and also for me, that it's meant a lot, is the one called "Standing in the Rain,"
Oh, I
and
like it.
that one I wrote actually for and about a Twitch streamer who doesn't stream too often anymore. Her name is Spirit Lana. What I will say about Spirit Lana is she taught me a lot because her streams were always very just her being herself. And I think people were drawn to her, possibly in the same way they were drawn to me. That she actually streamed mostly in the beginning just from her phone, and sometimes even it was a cracked screen phone and poor
Oh,
lighting and
wow.
things like that.
Dude,
But
I get that. It's like you just have a
but
message you have to put out
it
there or
was
something.
always just her being herself,
I
and
love that.
she's so young and pretty anyway. But I think everybody was just drawn to her calming voice, her very loving and sweet personality. And at one point, she came on stream and she was just going through something very tough.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was crying a lot. And it was just very sad to see her like that. And
Hmm.
especially since I felt so attached to her as a friend. And she had been on my stream several times too. And we had a very strong connection to Spirit Lana. And a lot of people still probably have a very strong
Wow.
attachment to and a connection to Lana. And to see her going through that, it was like I wanted to reach out and do something, but it was very hard for me just to watch and feel like I couldn't do anything to help her.
Wow.
And so I wrote this song, Standing in the Rain, about her and what it felt like to watch her go through that and really not be able to do anything except for maybe send her a message or two through her mod, understanding that it was her journey and I had to let her have that journey. And I felt a lot of people felt connected to that song because, for one thing, of their connection to her and her being a partnered streamer and so well known, but also
Hmm.
that it was a common thing for me as a parent. And a lot of people said to me they felt that way about it toward their kids. And you probably could relate to this. Like, you
Totally.
see your kids going through
Yeah.
something tough and you want to do something to help them, you want to be there for them, but that you can't really. And it's
You
very
have to kind of,
frustrating.
yeah. I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah. So there's that. There's always that. And so that's a really important song to me, and it still is. And I feel like to the mental health community, I
Yeah.
actually had that song in mind with you a few months back when you wound up going through something really tough.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about that
Interesting.
song in connection with you and thinking to myself, wow, I wish I could do something to help you. But there
That's
really
so
wasn't
nice.
anything I could do except for
Yeah.
message you once in a while, let you know
And
I'm
that
there.
that meant a lot too. Thank you so much for that. Thank you everybody that was also there for me. I appreciate you all for reals. I feel like that's been the overall theme for me here on Twitch is I found like people that actually care about who I am and I'm trying to show up in this world. So I appreciate you even just sending a message like, "Hey, how are you?" Like that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
But maybe if you feel like it before we part ways here today, if you want to sing that song for the one that you wrote for Spirit Lana, that would be awesome.
So, as I was saying, I think we all, I can't say we all, but many of us have this happen where there's someone who means a lot to us, whether it's a friend or Twitch streamer friend or family member. At some time or other, we see someone that's going through something like we did with Shaman a few months ago, that they're going through something very painful and you care about them and you'd like to do something to help them, but you have to let them have their journey. And you can try to send light their way, but that's really all you can do. from a mountain far away. I see a storm a-blowing, and I know I cannot stop the hurt and pain. As I gaze on your sweet face, I see those tears are flowing. It's so hard to see you standing in the rain. As the wind blows even higher, you want to find a place to run, but there's no place you can hide from what's inside. I know this torment is not mine. Your own healing you must find. Still it's hard to see you standing in the rain. But my light is still mine, and it finds a place to shine. And I hope that you can see me through the clouds. It seems unfair that I can give no words of comfort, no warm and cozy blanket in the cold. Those winds, they may die down, but another storm is coming. Still it's hard to see you standing in the rain.
Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
playing that song.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for all the
So
emotes.
good.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Captain,
my friend.
for all the
Thank
emotes
you.
and the
That was
claps.
so beautiful. Wow. So you got to play that song for her? Has she got to hear that one?
Yeah, she did it actually.
That's
And at first, I was
awesome.
afraid to play it for her because I didn't know how it would make her feel to have that played. But she actually loved it, and she has it on her song list as well. And there are a few Twitch streamers that do play it, actually. My Mod It's Me plays it. Tinkuya Sai Music plays it. Gobot Cadet plays it. There's a few that
I
actually do play the
love
song.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to learn it. That's such a good song, dude.
You.
Love that.
It is on my Spotify too. Let me put that in my
Okay.
chat in case anybody.
Yeah, yeah. So I can copy that too for you and pin it in mine. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Wow. I feel spirit, Lana's spirit.
So it was a
Like,
collab between myself, Dan Tremblay Music, and Wad Violin. If you do get a chance to look at or listen to it, it's also on my YouTube as well. I made a YouTube video for it.
okay.
You'll be able to hear Wad Violin's beautiful violin work that he did on it.
Nice.
And Dan Tremblay
Okay.
Music's wonderful job that he did producing that for us.
Nice. I love that. See, that's all Twitch collaboration and inspired. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I just pinned it for the chat on my channel.
I'm so glad you liked
I'm
it.
gonna leave that up. I loved it, dude. Thank you so much.
I think it
Dang.
is on Ultimate Guitar too, which I could find for you later, and you'll be able to get the chords and the lyrics and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that's right. The tabs. That's
Yeah, you'll
so
be able to get
cool.
that.
That
But I
is so
played key of
rad.
F, and yeah, That would be so cool to have you be one of the people that actually. I can
Yeah.
turn this mic down.
Even if I could just sing it like karaoke style would be awesome.
Oh
But I
yeah,
would
I don't know.
definitely learn it.
I might actually be able to give you a backing track so that you could do that. I could find for you. I'll get that
Oh,
for you.
nice. Oh,
Remind
that's
me
so
if I
rad of
forget.
you. Will do. I will definitely remind you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Poke your eyes out
so
games. Welcome.
yes, welcome in everyone. Welcome in. Already we've got some good stuff here because just kind of want to reiterate the purpose of this episode is to speak with someone who has journeyed into a form of creativity or expression and use this as a healing and form of shamanism, right? Like, I was gonna actually ask you off topic when your journey spiritually began because personally me like I went to a private school from kinder to eighth grade, so I was raised like Catholic, right? It wasn't until later in life, in fact, just a couple years ago, where I discovered Buddhism and became Buddhist. I just want to ask a little bit about your spiritual background, if you don't mind
Oh,
answering
that's
that.
fine. Actually, I was raised Catholic and I used to be Catholic. And at some point, I left that because I just started to feel, and I don't want to get too down on them, on the Catholic faith or anything, but I did
Mhm.
start to feel that the Catholic approach is too exclusive of people,
Yes,
and they're
I
too
understand
much
that.
so like my husband and I have joked, if you're not Catholic,
Mhm.
then heading straight for. And I just really didn't like that, and also I needed
Yeah,
a place to raise my kids where they could feel more welcome.
totally.
And so we found the Lutheran church where they actually had a Sunday school, and they looked forward to going in as opposed to being
That's
forced to go.
awesome.
And
Hmm.
they had some games there, and they had fun there, and it was something that we found much better than the Catholic
I love
church where
it.
they were just expected to sit
The
in the pew
environment.
and be quiet, which I hated.
Yeah. Totally, I get that. I feel you on
And
that.
but as my life went on, I realized Christianity had become less and less for me. And I don't know whether I consider myself Buddhist, but I think the Buddhist bit of Buddhism that I have read and
Hmm.
listened, I listen to audiobooks more than read because
Okay.
I really don't like sitting there with a book. I like to have something I'm doing and
Yeah,
a video
I
game or
get that.
something as opposed to sitting there with a book. It's very hard for me to just to
I
do
get
that.
that.
But
I like voices a lot,
yeah, I
so
like the
like I like
voices
listen.
too. I like to walk and listen to a book. But I felt like more and more the Buddhist faith made more sense to me. I feel like Christianity expects us to believe that when you die, you're going to be resurrected and into another world. And I find that very
Yeah.
hard to believe in. And there's so much about the Christian faith that kind of tries
It just raises more questions,
to
right? I feel
force you
like.
into believing that. And I'm just like, what? And I don't like the whole idea. And I think in a way is very counterproductive to have the whole idea of someone who dies
Being in.
to save
Yeah.
us. I think
Yeah.
that almost justifies sending soldiers to war to die for us. And I think that's wrong.
Right. Totally, I get that. It's like
And
a
so,
total veil of separation, right? That
yeah,
they want us to believe that we're separate from the source. Totally,
yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. That's
And it
interesting. I did
actually
not know you
has
were.
been a comfort to me, the thinking that not to expect us to believe that when we die we're going to be risen and to go to heaven or something like that. I think it's more comforting to me, like when my mother died, I found it was comforting to me not to try to imagine her in heaven or anything like that, or try to think that's what I was going to see her again.
Okay.
For me, when she died, I just ignored that. When I was at church at her funeral, the thing that I felt more comforting was not trying to think that she was going to heaven or that she was going to rise again or I was going to see her again. It was more comforting to me that when I read at the church, they asked me to read the prayer intentions. It was more comforting to me that so many people came up to me and said, my voice reminded them of my mother.
Aw, that's so
And
awesome.
because my mother had a calming voice like mine,
Okay.
and I felt that's the way my mother lives
Yes,
in me.
exactly. I love
My
that
mother
so
lives in
much.
me through my voice. My mother lives in me through my love of music because she had much
Yes.
more influence on me in terms of my connection to music and wanting to sing and
Wow.
things like that. She was the one who really introduced me to a lot of the music, and Father Sean, she was the one who introduced me to
Okay.
Sean and his music. So
Wow.
that's how my mother lives, through me, through my
Yeah,
kids,
for sure.
and through
Mm-hmm.
everything she did, all the people she met. She worked for the Red Cross for over 20
Oh,
years.
wow.
She lives through all the people she helped.
Yeah, totally.
And whether or not I see her again, I don't really care. It could be that I'm not going to completely disregard other people's beliefs in that and say that it's completely not true. We don't know, do we?
Right.
It
I
may
mean,
be that there is a heaven that we'll see them again, but I feel like that's not productive to have,
right.
to think about. I think it's more productive to say, my mother's still here, right?
Right,
You know,
exactly. I
yeah,
totally agree with you on that. I like when I tell people that my father passed away, their initial reaction, and anyone's natural reaction is to be like, I'm so sorry, and it's okay with it. Like I've come to terms with the fact that now like I have somebody who really loved me wholeheartedly, and he's just one of many actually, but obviously we had the strongest connection, my father and I. So that's beautiful to hear somebody say that and I wasn't even aware of the fact that you were interested in Buddhism like that.
yeah.
This is brand new to me right now. This is amazing because, yeah, I've always had a strong connection with Buddhism since I was like 13. I don't even know why, to be honest with you. And when I asked for it, I received it and it came so mystically. And this is all mystical, actually. This is part of the Buddhism practice here because Buddhism isn't like a religion, it's a practice, it's a way of life. And part of it is to do kosen rufu, which is allow others to find their own way, right? So it's just amazing to me that you are actually looking into Buddhism as well. And that's the beautiful part I feel about Buddhism is all inclusive. Like anybody, it doesn't matter if you're Christian or Catholic or Muslim, or you can also be Buddhist as well. It's just a practice, it's not like a religion. But that's amazing, Joanne. Thank you for sharing
Oh,
that.
you're welcome. I think my biggest thing is I think Catholicism has a long way to go. I think they're trying to change maybe a little bit, but my biggest problem with them is their tendency to exclude people.
Yeah.
And
You know what's
I think they're trying to change in that, but I think they still have a long way to go with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because right when I became homeless and I went to get help, basically, like from the city, they sent me to this program where I was staying at a Catholic church after 7 p.m. But it was like jail. Like they didn't want to let me see my daughters.
Oh
Like
no.
they fed us, yeah, they fed us really well. And they gave us somewhere to sleep, which I was so thankful for. But it's, dude, the whole point of this is to see my daughters. And you don't want to let me see my daughters. It
Oh
was
wow.
just very, yeah,
Was this
very
in the
like,
Netherlands or in San Diego?
no, in San Diego.
Because I
Yeah,
thought
and like,
your daughters were in San Diego. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was like in the nice part of San Diego too. So it was like they were not like nice about it. And I was like, dude, I got to get out of here. This is not the type of energy I want to be around right now.
Yeah.
And but it's just a trip. It's all I'm just getting like memories and flashbacks.
Part of the
So,
thing is too, I just wanted to tell you, I
yeah, yeah,
feel
go
like
ahead.
my mother was in some ways harmed by Catholicism. And it was as a thing growing up that we were forced to go to church whether we wanted to or not. And I think I had an attitude. toward it that way.
A
But my
little
mother
rebel.
also,
Rebel.
when she had, I don't know if there's ever such a thing as a normal childhood, to be honest. I think everybody has some sort of traumas that they live through. But
Totally.
my mother, her mother passed away when she was quite young. And her father ran a business, so he needed her to be in a place where she was taken care of. So he put her in a Catholic boarding school. And my father
I
says that
see.
whenever he asks her about that and how the nuns treated her and things like that, she says she doesn't want to talk about it. She changes the subject.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's pretty sure that while she was there, the nuns did some harm to her, and I don't know what
They
it was
abuse her.
because
Dang.
she doesn't talk about it. And I feel like for me, growing up, even though it was her trauma, I think some of that was passed to me, and
Totally.
some of her
Totally.
other issues were passed to me.
You're
So
breaking that right now.
yeah,
You're breaking those traumas by exploring other avenues. That's so awesome. I can tell she's so proud of you for doing that. Takes courage. It's
my mother
awesome.
was very proud of me. Thank you.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
just want to catch up with chat real quick because some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
making some
Totally, totally.
comments on my end. I don't know about yours.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
no
want to just
worries.
go through this. I'm actually going to put it on screen so people can see
Yeah.
because there's some stuff that's going on here. Okay. On my end, I've got some hearts from Cap. Thank you so much. Poke Your Eyes Out Games is a friend of the stream. If you
Yeah,
don't know
poke your eyes
him,
out, games. I'm gonna follow you, buddy.
he is a music producer and a
Nice.
gamer. He doesn't stream
Nice.
that often anymore, I
My
think,
kind
because
of
he's
guy.
watching his child. But
Yeah,
he
that'll
actually
do
did a
it.
collab with us earlier
Okay.
this. So he says the more I talk with music, the more I see music in all things and people. Music is never quiet, even if there is nothing in your speakers, and that's a really cool comment. And thank you for
Totally. I
saying
love it. I
that. That's
love the.
beautiful, Captain,
Mhm.
and that it's relatable. Thank you. And Poke also says, when making music, I connect to music herself and listen to what she has to say, the stuff that comes out of the speaker is a result of the conversation I am having with her. And
I
there
love
must be
that.
something I missed. Consider all the music I make a shamanistic thing. That's so cool.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I was gonna ask you, Joanne, if you knew that you were a shaman.
I'm starting to be aware of it through you, which I'm really grateful for. And what maybe you could tell me a little. Hello, Keys, by the way.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for saying that, my friend. Yeah, I felt drawn this year to start bringing that up and making this a thing, being able to speak openly about spirituality and be all inclusive and include everybody. I don't knock anyone's beliefs. Whatever makes you feel whole and complete to me is a step towards tipping the scales in the favor of unconditional love. And that's really what all religions are based around. It's just that it's been turned into a form of control and exclusion. Joanne was saying, and that's what I aim to do here on Shamanic Awakening, is to awaken everybody to their ability to heal themselves and therefore heal each other. Um,
But here's something that I just wanted to say. I know every once in a while I talk about my post traumatic stress, and I just mentioned about my mother's. One of the things that I struggle with a lot are certain words, such things that have to do with like rude and crude language or like
mhm.
references to body parts and things like that.
Yeah, I don't like
And
to.
I've had that happen on your stream a few times.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's really hard for me to know what to do. And one
Yeah,
of the things that I've
thank
come
you
to
for sharing that.
realize with you is that it really is like a cultural difference. And it's something
Totally.
to try to work hard to accept and figure out how I'm going to handle if my post traumatic stress is triggered, if I still want to be present to the person, let
Yeah,
them know, okay, I'm being triggered right now, I have to leave, or I'm being triggered right now, I have to mute you, or something like that.
yeah.
But What I've
Thank you for
noticed
sharing
about
that.
yeah,
For
what I've
reals.
noticed about you is that, and other people too, is saying those kind of words and those kind of expressions. It's almost like the difference between dialects in different countries and different cultures, such as he says, I need 2 weeks in Romania, such as my husband and I call the S word the Texas punctuation mark. It's like in Texas, I don't know if you're aware of that. It's like in
No,
Texas, everything ends with that.
that's so funny.
Starts or ends with that word. So we call it, it's almost like the dialect and like the way they talk. So it's not something that you or anyone else who talks that way means any harm in. It's
Right.
just, it's the way they were raised. It's the way they talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going down
Yeah.
south and having everybody say y'all instead of you.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, and thank you for letting me know though, like voicing that boundary and that feeling that you get because I also like to be aware of my chat and make sure everyone feels comfortable and stuff. And I've been actually trying to dial it back and it's just depends on like you said who's in the chat, who's hanging out with me, like what, but don't feel at all, what's the word, shy about letting me know. Please do. And if you have to go, like I said also, I totally understand. It's all love, my friend. It's all
Yeah,
love.
like
That's
the
what
other
I've
day, I probably would have left if it hadn't have been that I had a reading coming up. So I was just
Yeah.
like, okay,
Totally. I get it. I get it. It is,
yeah.
that is a big challenge, right? With like humanity, is first it's like me versus them, then it's them versus us, and we got to get past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's something to get past, but at the same time, I really am grateful that you care so much about it and you understand that it's a difference, but it's something that we can work through.
Totally. If that's the only thing that, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like when I spoke with Auntie Maraya a few weeks ago, we had a disagreement about pineapple on pizza. If that's the only thing we're disagreeing about or we have to fix or work around, that's fine with me,
Uh-huh.
my friend.